Welcome back to Let's Play Darkest Dungeon. I'm your host, Timepants, and today we are going to be heading into the Warrens again, and we are going hunting for the Swine Prince. Now, let's see, I think we'll be taking this party right here. We'll have Not Renald with the Tough Ring and the Knight's Crest. We finally have a couple of these again. We will also be taking Patris, our leper. It's been a long time since we touched him, so I thought it might be nice to just take him out of the garage and take him for a spin. We're going to be trying to put his accuracy at like decent levels, and of course, well, we bought this out of the Nomad wagon, and oh my god, like, you know, say what you will about the leper, I certainly have. But that looks awesome. We have Fergant, who is probably going to be our primary damage dealer, and Levette with sort of the standard loadout for an occultist. I think we should swap the order there, and let's get going. Alright, so I had a ton of money, not so much anymore, and it's probably due to me over-preparing like this, but I feel pretty good about it. I feel like this is, you know, the sort of mission, you know, when we are heading off to fight a boss, I feel like it's good to over-prepare. It's good to have a bunch of extra food just lying around, something to munch on before the boss. Of course, if I had been thinking, I probably could have just skimped on a bunch of food and gotten medicinal herbs instead, since there are a couple of different interactables in this dungeon that do provide a massive amount of food if you use the herbs on them, but I also really wanted to have those herbs handy for if I decided that I wanted to, or if I found kegs that I could use. Let's see, probably could have gotten him some better, yeah, probably could have gotten him some better camping buffs. Let's see. Yeah, unfortunately, we're probably not going to have a lot going on here. Let's see. This is how we do it. Again, there seems to be this glitch where the the person sitting here cannot be right-clicked. Oh, there we go. Just have to find the sweet spot, I guess. Let's see. Crit of 7. And crit of 7. Well, since he gets more damage off of a crit, I guess this is probably a good investment. Alright, let's see. Tracking is good. Let's see if we have... We won't have the time for it if we do this, though. Maybe Levette doesn't need the speed? I do like being more likely to surprise and being less likely to be surprised, especially with a leper in the party. So I think we're just going to do Dark Strength on him. And, well, yeah, I think we'll just go without the speed. Although, against a boss, I do think it would be nice. And, let's see. Well, at this point now, probably not much to do, except, yeah, he has a marginal amount of stress, so we will do what we can to mitigate that. Now, since my previous recordings, I do everything week to week. I don't do them daily unless there's something like horrendously wrong in my personal life. Well, this sucks, especially with a leper and a less mobile party. Let's see how bad the damage is. Not bad at all. So yeah, I do these week to week rather than day by day, and let's see. And so one of the things that has come out of, gosh, I don't know which one I want to do. Oh well, damage. It's fine, I guess. Yeah, one of the things that has come out of the developing studio since the last week or so has been that they are going to be releasing some new content here. Oh, well, okay. They're going to be releasing some new content here before too long. Well, I guess they didn't specifically say before too long, but they are going to be releasing some new content which will include new bosses, and each area, each dungeon is going to be getting one new boss, and I could not be more excited. Obviously, I've been talking for a long time about how thrilled I am that the coves are going to be a thing. Let's see. Do we want to minimize stress or damage? Why don't we try and kill this thing? I was hoping we would get near the upper end of the damage spectrum there and get like a 20 or 21. I think moving back is the right play here. Alright. And flashbang, stun resist is pretty high, although stun base of 165 means that, well, he hasn't attacked yet. Let's just take him out of the equation here. He'll spend that turn trying to get back in the game. And yeah, I might not be approaching this the best way, but I'm hoping that we can use Hue or something like that to finish off the encounter, but didn't look like... Looks like we won't get to do that anyway. Yeah, it's one of the problems with me doing this week to week is that I unfortunately kind of forget how to play, and I just need a minute or two to kind of get right back into the proper headspace for this. Let's see. Well, we can lower his accuracy if that debuff connects, and it did, so this should be game, set, match right there. Alright. So, they did also mention that, of course, the new classes are still on the way. I'm still very, very excited about that. One of the things that I have realized sort of in the downtime that I have had is that we actually are done with needing... We're done with needing heirlooms except for crests, of which we need many. But that's very exciting, I think. So that means that, unfortunately, one of my favorite little mini games, what are you going to take, what are you going to leave behind, that whole thing, unfortunately, that's a little bit less of an issue now, because, we are able to basically take down... Stunning blow? Yeah. Since, we are able to now, in good conscience, leave just a shit ton of heirlooms behind in the name of getting treasure, it does kind of take one of those main gameplay elements away. Now, I'm not just going to throw these heirlooms out without good reason. That's just sloppy play, and I don't know if they are going to... Ooh, let's see, I think I'd kind of like to get one of these off of Patras. Yeah, so I'm not going to just leave stuff behind, because I don't know at this point if they are going to... if they are going to implement... some new upgrades or some new area of the town that is going to be, is going to require those heirlooms. At this point, I know that I don't need them, but you never know. That could change. So, I am going to still collect them, but yeah, they are also going to be the first thing that I discard if I... Yeah, that's fine. If I find myself in a situation where, you know, I've got a full inventory and something's got to go, well, it's probably going to be the heirlooms at this point, except for crests.
Spirits are lifted, and purpose is made clear.
All right, we are... Yes, the thing about these boss rooms is pretty much that, well, or these boss missions is that, well, I mean, you pretty much, you have one objective, and other than that, I mean, pretty much everything else is secondary. I do really love that that scouting buff that the bounty hunter has. Just getting surprise is, I mean, it's huge. It's so significant in just turning the tide of a fight. Having one round where everybody is able to go, huge. I mean, it's truly unfair. It's almost to the point where I would say, you know, a lot of people say, interesting, and there we go. It is to the point where I would say, you know, a lot of people say crit is the god stat, you know, stat crit, stat crit, stat crit. But really, honestly, truly, I think we can pretty safely say at this point, or at least I feel that I can safely say, that having just a shit ton of, you know, opportunities to get a surprise attack, no, man, that is way more critical. Alright, sorry if you see something janky in the animation or in the music, hear something in the music there. I actually had to cut out to use the restroom. Unfortunately, I have not transcended my biological form yet. And yeah, I was kind of at the point where, like, if I took too much longer to do that, like, this is just gonna be backing up into my mouth, and can't have that. So anyway, I'm sorry. That is really, like, unacceptably gross, and I do apologize. That's really unnecessary. All right, so let's see here. I will say one thing about this game that is one thing about this game that is kind of troubling to me is, and this has been noted by a few different people, is that humans seem to be, and, you know, we're not fighting humans now, but humans in this game full of, like, weird eldritch monsters and abominations unto the Lord, like, out of all of those monsters, humans in the form of bandits seem to be the most terrifying or the deadliest enemy of all. And, you know, that is true. And I was talking earlier about how they are going to be adding in new bosses, and one of the new bosses is called, like, the Bandit Wall or something like that. I'm not quite sure what that's supposed to be exactly, but just from the name, it sounds like it is going to be just a mess of bandits. And I don't know how to feel about that. It seems like, okay, bandits are in your game. They're a monster. They're a bad guy in your game. So obviously you want to give them a little love. But man, like, well, okay. So we're coming up on the Swine Prince here, and I have said, I am quite certain almost every time that we have fought him that, oh my god, I think well, straight up, I'm just madly in love with his monster design. Speaking of which, here we go. Yeah, I love it. Look at this. This is so cool. He's just sitting atop, like, a throne made of, like, a giant rib cage. He's walking around on these intestinal tentacles of his. It's just a really awesome design. And yeah, unless, and you know, all I know is that it's the bandit wall, so it could just be, you know, a massive crawling, like shuffling mass of bandits that have all been fused together by black magic, and then, you know, hey, I'm the asshole because that's actually a really fucking cool design. But yeah, as it stands right now, I just feel like, you know, what a missed opportunity if you're trying to feature a boss as like this, as you know, or sorry, if your boss is like a just a human, like, you know, people said the Jesus. Good thing we have just a retarded amount of HP here. But I mean, people said the same thing about Dark Souls 2, and I get it. You know, people said there are too many human-shaped bosses in your game. Like you have that sucks. You have these incredible, like super cool boss monsters just scattered throughout the game, and then all of a sudden, or sorry, in Dark Souls you have all these really creative, all these clever monster designs, and then, you know, you
Nothing is even more horrible than death.
you kind of bail out and go the opposite direction in Dark Souls 2 with having just a bunch of monsters that really uh-oh, having a bunch of monsters that are mostly human in form. I can see the beef. You know, I can see why people would be kind of upset about that. Oh, this is nice. This is considerably less interesting. And, you know, I think we can ditch all of this stuff. Take it, and let's see here. Well,
Finding the stuff is only the first test.
yeah, we are not going to take this. We have thrown away much more interesting trinkets than that. And let's see. I guess we will call it here. And, you know, I think we have time for one more quick one. Let's see if we can find anything that looks interesting. Finally! By the way, this is amazing. I wish it were on a better character. We gotta get the yips removed. Sounds like something an old prospector would diagnose you with, but... Alright, yeah. Not Ronald needed a lot more HP, so glad we got that. So yeah, our leper is finally at level 4, and that is likely where he will stay for a long time. Alright, let's see here.
Before they found me. And the letter was on its way.
Sorry, just taking a refreshing swig of my iced water. Alright, so, buddy, we gotta get you well again. We can't have you having the yips. Sounds just awful. Unfortunately, he was our character, yeah, with no negative quirks, and now he got a pretty bad one, so let's take care of that. That does put a question to us as to who is going to be in our next party. Let's see. Well, another long. That is pretty cool. I'd kind of like to have that on a highwayman. Let's see, anything else offer good? I think we have enough sun cloaks at this point. Does anything else offer any interesting treasures? No. Okay, so that pretty much decides it for us. Now, unfortunately, we don't have anybody who's really in shape to go except for this party. And, well, I'm going to be honest, they aren't really that interesting to me. So instead, we will take our second choice here, and we'll take... Let's see. Well, Fergant is gone. Take not Renaud. We'll take Glanville, Valance, and Levette. And I feel pretty good about this. I think that's going to be an interesting party composition. Let's see. And, okay, I do apologize. I'm going to have to shuffle some trinkets around here really fast. Let's see. I think we already took everything else. So, let's see, you get, let's see. Alright, Sun Cloak, and yeah, let's just get rid of that, that's garbage. Alright, let's see, Levette still has what he needs. Valance, you can have, let's see, that's pretty good. And I think there was one more thing. Now this is plus 15 damage, this is minus 12 damage. See, I like the dodge, but I don't know, it feels like they just kind of offset each other without giving a lot of big benefits otherwise. So maybe we won't take that, and instead, well geez, now I feel like we're in kind of an awkward position. Sunray, okay. And finally, let's see. Well, there is no finally, that's that. Okay. And off we go. Sorry, just really quick. Explore 90% of rooms. Okay, this is going to be a very long mission. So, I am going to over-prepare again, especially since Valance is going to eat a little bit extra. And let's see. Alright, I feel pretty good about that. Again, I know I'm over-preparing, but I have the money for it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm risk-averse at this point. At this point in the game, you know, we're not really trying to take out bosses. We are trying to... Jesus. Jesus. Now, the good thing is, we probably won't need shovels, unless we need them here. But, yeah, we're in the home stretch, and at this point, I don't need to, like, play a really risky game and, like, fight a lot of bosses and stuff like that. Actually, let's just do this right now. Let's see. All we really need to do is, well, basically survive. We just want to... God, that is not great. Yeah, all we really need to do is get a bunch of party members to level 6, and so, you know, we don't want people to die before we have the chance to do that. I mean, that seems pretty reasonable, right? So, yeah, I just want to keep the band together, make sure that we make it through all of this stuff, and do have a chance to get somebody to level 6. Let's see. Now, I actually did level all of Glanville's stuff, and here's what I'm thinking. We're gonna lose Harvest and give him... let's see. We're gonna give him Heroic End, because I've heard that this is just an amazing attack. Alright, let's see. Well, if I had brought our bounty hunter, we actually could have gotten rid of his yips. Let's see. Alright, I think we'll try and get rid of one of Valance's negative quirks here. Deviant tastes. Alright. So, she will be admitted back into the brothel. Lovely. Great news. Alright, and we actually don't need to... We don't need to go through it, but, I mean, look, there's really no other place that we would have use of the shovel, so we might as well do it here. I think that's fine. And now... Nothing. Alright, so pretty quiet dungeon so far. All that can change, obviously. We have a ton of rooms to clear out. And I'm hoping that we don't wind up making this video like... I thought, okay, let's do another quickie. At the end of the last mission, I thought, alright, you know, let's just do one more quick one and we'll call it there. But, yeah, this is not going to be a quickie by any stretch of the imagination. This is going to be a very, very long dungeon, and it's, yeah, I'm sorry, it's gonna be an undertaking. It's gonna take some time. I am very happy to be getting additional torches, though. I am a bit worried with a dungeon of this size. Good crests. Yeah, I am a bit worried with a dungeon of this size. Like, are we going to run out of torches? Because unfortunately, a lot of our trinkets are these sun cloaks or sun rings, and if the light starts to die out, we not only lose all the benefits, it hurts twice as bad because we also start taking penalties. Alright, so our first opposition, let's see. That was not an inspiring start, to say the least. Now, let's see here. Dirk Stab is an appealing option. Heroic End? Nah, let's save that for the end, because he is going to take a massive debuff when he uses it. So, yeah, let's lunge, and actually, we'll do Pick to the Face first. Yeah, we'll do Pick to the Face. We can do Holy Lance to get this spawn here. And, yikes. And hopefully, well, not take it out, but we definitely made some progress there, and Abyssal Artillery could finish the job. Alright. And now, this should be pretty straightforward. No bleed? Wow. I'm surprised, considering 95% bleed resist is, I mean, that's insane. There we go. Beautiful. Alright. So that was, yeah, our first opposition. Not too tough. Now, unfortunately, being such a mobile party, we do have to consider our marching order here. Now, gosh, I really want to get at this Fusilier. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do Dirk Stab and get the Cutthroat. And now, yeah, Not Renald is in position to do a Holy Lance and take it at fuck you. I'm really happy with how that went, but even so, like, come on. Alright, well, Holy Lance will still be a nice attack here. Let's see. That crit mod is pretty insane, yeah, so I was thinking, do we just want to start working on the Bloodletter? I mean, no, but yeah, the other reason is pretty clear, that crit chance is just huge. Let's see, do you have a dodge score? You do, so we will put Vulnerability Hex on you. Debuff might not stick, but it did, great. Lunge, and now we can start taking it out. Party Ballad. Interesting choice, but I think we'll stick with Slice Off. We get the bleed, it is nice. We didn't, but if we had gotten it, that would have been a nice little bonus for us. I don't know if we could have gotten a kill off of it, but gosh, you know, how cool would it have been, right? Anyway, this is, I am starting to realize, kind of a stacked party in terms of crit, and I'm actually really stoked to have another Moon Ring. So, yeah, I am thinking, or, sorry, if I had been thinking, let me rephrase that, if I had been thinking, I could have done this as a Darkness party, because I was going through my trinkets and getting them all in order, and I saw that, yeah, we have a ton of, like, Moon Cloaks, we have a ton of Moon Rings, we have a ton of these bracers. I'm not really remembering what they're called off the top of my head, but yeah, they basically increase, I think, damage and crit chance in low light, which would be great. That'd be awesome. So, yeah, maybe that's what we need to do from this point forward is just transition full time into just darkness party all the time, you know? I think it's an interesting choice. I don't know if it's the right one, but it's exciting, right? I think it's very interesting. Let's see, heroic end, nah, but fortunately Dirk Stab only gets us here, but that does get us a kill, and then Holy Lance does have a chance. It would have been nice. Ooh, that hurts. Okay. Okay. Well, shit. I think we do Thrown Dagger? Pick to the face? Pick to the face. Alright. God, shut up. Now, a lot of people are saying that the narrator is starting to drive them crazy, and I can understand that. Gosh, the healing has been disappointing. I can start to understand that, because, I mean, it does feel like he just comments on basically everything. I probably should have gone for the Gladiator. It does seem like he comments on basically everything. Like, all the time. Every time there's a crit, he's got something to say. You know, every time there's an obstacle in the way, there's just something to say. I do feel like if they maybe recorded about twice as many lines and they played them half as often, I think it would work well. Now, I do understand that getting all of his quotes kind of front loaded, where you are, you know, if you are interested in this game as early access, and maybe, you know, you're only going to give it 2 or 3 hours of playtime, you really do want people to be, let's see, boom, 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 boom. Okay. You really want people to be exposed to everything that your game has to offer in the early going. You do want to front load everything. It is sort of conventional wisdom in game design that you start big and you kind of put all your cards on the table early. And because, you know, people, you know, maybe not weird obsessive people like me who make videos for 2 people on the internet showing, you know, as much of the game to completion as possible, but, you know, normal people, the kind of people who lead healthy, productive lives, they often do not finish games, and so you do want your early going of your game to leave the biggest impact. And so I get that. I mean, I do understand that. That makes perfect sense to me. But I don't know. Maybe they could make it so that, you know, the quotes become less common over time. I mean, that makes sense, right? You want to just try it? You want to just see what it's like? Pretty great. Okay. Pretty great. Obviously that was a crit, but I mean, it had something like, what, a 14% additional crit mod, which is fucking awesome. So I am the Jester already growing on me as like a very viable class. I know a lot of people have been saying, like, oh, the Jester's no good, Jester's bad, the Jester is a gimmicky character. And originally, when people were saying, like, when the game first came out, and people were saying, oh, you know, the Jester's really bad, you know, the Jester's the weakest character in the game, I thought, at the time, you're an idiot. Like, absolutely not. There's no way that the Jester is anything less than incredible. And to an extent, I do still believe that. I do still think that the Jester is fine. I really do. I think the Jester is absolutely fine. But what I will say is this. The Jester is, perhaps more than any other character, very, very much susceptible to being weak due to a weak party. Now, what do I mean by that? I think the Jester complements a good party very, very well. However, a weak party, a party full of scrubs, oh my god. That's really, yeah, that is basically a death sentence for the Jester. That makes the Jester way worse. Like a Hellion can carry a bad party. But a Jester in a party full of like plague doctors and lepers, oh my god. No, it's really bad. However, I have begun to develop an appreciation for the Jester as like just as a very mobile character, a character that is able to fight from nearly every row and do so very effectively. There are a lot of those characters in the game, so it does make that particular spot a bit more competitive. Like, for instance, the Grave Robber is an incredible party member in terms of how well she can fight from any rank. The Highwayman, same thing. His ability to fight from any row, extraordinary, wonderful. And yeah, we'll probably use the shovel here. And yeah, even the Hellion, while she isn't the most mobile character, she can certainly fight from just about anywhere she wants to. That's annoying. This is gonna suck. We are very fortunate that this enemy hit not Renauld, because if it had hit anything else, that crit would have sucked. That would have been so bad for us. Fortunately, not Renauld with 13% protection is just a defensive titan. Really, really just unbelievably strong.
Remind yourself that
overconfidence
is a slow and insidious killer.
Here we go. Yeah, I keep reading these stories online of people who have gotten to the end of the game, or sorry, beaten all the bosses, and now they are going back through, they're doubling back through the game to get sort of the final
Such blockages are unsurprising.
the final missions or the final roster goals of getting characters to level 6. And they're saying, I made it through the game and I only lost one party member, or I didn't lose any party members. And then, now I have a roster full of level 5s, level 4s, a couple level 6s, and I lost like 3 in consecutive missions. And it is because of what the narrator keeps saying over and over and over again, that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer. Holy shit, it's the truth. So, get down on me for over-preparing, having fat stacks of food and torches in every single dungeon I go to. I understand. I get where you're coming from. That is crit 3 times in a row. That is just an amazing skill. I get it. If watching me stack up just a ridiculous amount of food and other consumables coming into a dungeon, if that irritates you, I get it. I'm sorry. I get it. But yeah, basically, I think the most dangerous thing that can happen in this game is for you to suddenly think, well, I've mastered it. I really do think that. I really do think that if you get to a point where you're like, well, there's not a lot that the dungeon can throw at me at this point that can really hurt me, that can really do damage, I really do think you're setting yourself up for a fall. I really do. Now, I probably could have healed instead, so I could have used Holy Lance on not Renald, but I do feel like this battle is more or less under control. And let's see. Well, let's think. Who would we rather debuff here? The debuff resist is equal. Who would we rather debuff? Probably you. Because if we can get those drums to miss, I mean, that would be really good. That would be kind of an ideal. Didn't work out, but I think that kind of would have been an ideal outcome if those drums had missed. They didn't. But if they had, wouldn't that have been nice? Alright. Let's just close this out here. I think this is going to be kind of a walk in the park. Heroic end. Ah. First time ever it did not crit. Ouch. Stun? Okay. We have kind of been, like, I wouldn't say our stress has ever been really bad. I mean, just look, it's freaking great. But, I will say this. Our stress has been just riding this sine curve, basically, where, you know, we'll get critted on a couple times and then, oh shit, you know, oh, this is looking pretty bad, guys. And, oh, beautiful, beautiful. Who do we want to get it? If I had been thinking, here's what I would have done. I would have stacked 2 Berserk Charms on Glanville from the get-go. Actually, we do have another Berserk Charm, don't we? Don't we? We should. Maybe not. Okay, we should have another. So here's what I'm thinking. Alright, we're going to do this. We are going to eat up this food. And so now we're going to take Glanville's trinket off, and we're going to put it here. Now we're going to switch trinkets like so. And now we're going to stack this on him like this. Now, we're going to back up. Now, I could be wrong. This might be just a really stupid idea. But here's what I'm thinking. Alright, we are now going to camp. And let's see. Are we really hurting for health? I think it's fine to use it. We have enough. And now, Dark Strength on Glanville. Let's see. And Unspeakable Commune. Let's see. Zealous Speech is good. Yeah, why don't we do that? Just, you know, to spread out the stress relief a little bit. And then finally, Encourage. Alright. So, now Glanville has plus 50% damage, which is great. But here is what I'm thinking. We are going to... Okay, good. Now, we're going to move this way. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to kill Party Ballad, and we're going to get solo. Now, we will switch the party order, and walk up here, use these medicinal herbs. Alright, now, this is something I've wanted to talk about for a while. Now, his damage is plus 70%. Pretty good, right? Well, it gets better. You see this says damage mod minus 100%. However, damage in this game, the damage buffs are not multiplicative. They are additive. Which means that he actually is standing at 70% damage on solo. So, if this works like I think it will, we're going to get a pretty good AoE attack. And we might be able to make this into an AoE party. I think. Let's see. See, that's not bad. I mean, it's not great. I wouldn't use it for like a level 5 dungeon. But that's pretty good. And if we can get crits, that's huge. Actually, if the lights were out, that's what we would do. I really think that that would be a very viable strategy. So, let's see. Holy Lance. Well, he has already gone, so why don't we just kill the Marcher? It's interesting. Is this ideal? Maybe, maybe not. But I do like that, you know, he can do these minus accuracy, or sorry, he can do these minus accuracy buffs on debuffs on enemies with solo, right? That's pretty good. And plus, you do get to see his sick, like his sick guitar slide pose, and that is, for me, worth the cost of admission. Alright. So, let's see. I just want to try it out, because it is something that I read about. I thought it looked really cool, and to me, it seems like an interesting way to use the Jester. Having him standing in the front row, just wailing on his banjo, lute, guitar. I'm sorry, I'm not a musician. Well, why don't we keep going? Why don't we keep going? What was that I was saying about overconfidence? Ah, it's probably fine. Alright. Do you want to see? I don't know if these stack, like on the same person. You want to see? Let's see. He's got plus 50% damage. Wait. Plus 50% damage. Is that right? Huh. Is that max out? Well, let's try it. We're near the end anyway. And, you know, if we get in over our heads, we can plus 80% damage. Alright. So, yeah, let's see. This must only be, yeah, this is probably only reporting on the buffs that he has. Okay. Sorry, like I said, you know, I'm doing this week to week, not day to day, so I'm kind of forgetting some stuff. I have to be reminded, because I'm dumb. So, yeah, plus 80% damage. With solo, this should be pretty good, especially with a surprise round against a party like this. Yeah, this is gonna be, I think this is gonna be pretty devastating. Solo, boom, pretty good. Do we get the debuff? Oh my god. That is really good. Now, unfortunately, if we do have him using solo, he probably needs to be in a party with something like a leper or a hellion, something that doesn't move around very much, because, you know, we do want the lance to be able to use lunge a lot. We do want not Renald to be allowed to use Holy Lance a bit more. But it's an interesting setup. And, you know, we don't get to do AoE a lot, especially at this level. But look at that! Oh, it's so cool. I love it. Alright. See, this is garbage. I don't think it's great. We'll take it, but we will discard it at our earliest convenience. And nothing here really appeals, so we are out. Alright, well, we got another Sun Cloak. Didn't get nearly as much gold as I wanted, but we did get a fair number of crests. So, let's see here. Got one to level 5, that's nice. Ruminator. Less stress heal, that's okay. Off guard. We're probably... Wow. Not Renald is just gonna fuck unholy creatures up. That's awesome. But we probably do want to get rid of that. Alright, so I think this was a good... This was a good mission. I like that. Alright, so I am gonna cut it here. And when we come back, well, I don't know yet. But it'll be awesome. Alright, thanks for watching. See you later.